All right, let us start this morning with a prayer for the Holy Spirit's guidance. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Holy Spirit, I ask you for the gift of wisdom, for a better understanding of your design perfection. I ask you for the gift of intellect, for a better understanding of the essence of the mysteries of the Holy Faith. Give me the gift of knowledge so that I may know how to orient my life in accordance with the principles of faith. Give me the gift of counsel so that in all things I can seek counsel from you and always find it in you. Holy Spirit, I ask, give me the gift of strength so that no fear or earthly motivations can take me away from you. Give me the gift of piety so that I can always serve your majesty with filial love. Give me the gift of the fear of God so that no fear or earthly motivations can take me away from you. Through Christ our Lord, amen. Blessed Father McGivney, pray for us.
Praise.
Gentlemen, if you have a flag, please face it. We will now do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United
to the
States
republic for which it
and to the
stands,
republic
one
for which it
nation,
stands,
under
one
God,
nation.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. All right, so I've got this set up so it's going to happen in 5-minute segments. Other than the town hall discussion, that will be open and ongoing. Hold on a second, we've got an older version of the presentation up currently. So I'm going to do a quick review of where we're at in meeting our goals and objectives. Pass it on to our membership director, Frank Joseph, for some remarks on membership and where we're at on things that we can work on. It will then go to programs for discussion of how we're doing with programming. Then it will go to our state advocate for review of compliance with home corporations and the state environment. We're going to then talk with a council from each diocese that is involved, and they can talk about why that is. Once we're done with that, we're going to let the state secretary and the state treasurer talk about some procedural items. And then we're going to open it up as a town hall with the goal that as your council representative, you can speak about what is working or what is not working in your council. And if there's something that's not working, we can talk about opportunities to make adjustments and to be in line and work towards being successful. Okay. I ask that if you have questions, you go to the chat and type them in. Walt will be moderating this. He'll pass those questions to me, and then I can read them, and we will do our best to respond to everything. Hopefully, my goal is to be done by noon. If we have more questions in the town hall, we may go a little late, but that's our goal. Okay. So we got an older deck. We'll just have to work with that. Okay, guys, if you don't mute, you're going to get that feedback and stuff. So come on, don't play around with the your microphone. Again, if you have a question, just chat it.
It's a solid pipe. And it's P-clamp to the engine.
Hey guys, mute please.
He says,
Okay, so Reverend Reverend Shockley is not with us. He had a conflict. I've already done the welcome. So let's get in with our review. So let's talk about our goals. First goal, it was membership. Supreme. Go ahead. Okay. So my goal for the state was 10% growth. This was to cover the loss of 10% of our members affiliate program. That would have been 800 a quarter. We totally missed that. Supreme's goal for us was 3.5% growth, which worked out to be 283 per quarter. When I put this together, I had 280. That was on Thursday. We picked one up yesterday. We picked one up Thursday evening, and then one again on Friday. So we actually hit 282. It'll become official on Monday, which is horrible because I don't know how many of you guys have coached or been in sports, but losing by 1 point is really disheartening. So we're nearly 200, we're nearly 25% of our goal for Supreme, which is what we want. But we missed it by that much, as the gentleman from Get Smart says. One good highlight for membership, online membership, closed at about 31% of the goal, which is above 25%. So we're doing great on online, and I ask you to keep that up. The good news is with online, every 10 members we get through online, I get to reduce my Supreme goal by 1. So if we get 100 members, that's 10 less that I have to strive for. And so we're doing well there. I'm not sure about the age of the members, but I'm hopeful that that is going well as well. Okay, next slide. Church drive goals. Okay, I have seen some of the church drives. I have not seen dates for everyone. I need 80% of our councils to be holding a membership drive of some sort. I need those dates to your DDs and those DDs to get that to me today, because I have to turn that into Supreme to show that we are holding the membership drive. Again, church drive does not mean you standing at the pulpit. It means that you're reaching out to the parish. It could be a bulletin announcement with guys in the narthex. It could be a bulletin announcement that says, come join us on Monday so that we can talk to you about the nights. Whatever that is, I need the date that you're doing it. All right, so that I can tell my boss that you are working towards that goal and show them that we're there. Okay. New council development. Okay, our goal is 5. We're working to get one wrapped up here in October. I hope to have it done by now, but we've run into a little hiccup. Actually, we have several others that are in the pipeline. If things go right, we may go well beyond 5. I've actually had a couple of priests contact us and say, hey, I'd like counsel in my parish, so we're working to get that done. And if that happens, then that goal of 5 is definitely going to be exceeded. Okay. No, that's backwards. Okay, Hispanic goals. The Hispanics are the fastest growing population in the nation in Indiana. Our bishop, I spoke with all 5 of our bishops back in August and let them know that we were going to do this. Every one of them said they were thrilled that we were going to do that. So I'm asking for your help in getting those started. I know Bishop Rhodes was incredibly happy about the idea, and he started listing off city after city of where we could go in his diocese. So hopefully we will get those, and that goes to that new council development. Fraternal benefits. Make sure that you're working with Phil Stakowitz and your local agents to be part of these. He has the first one scheduled, and it should be ready to roll. Remember, you need 2 per council for the year, and that at each one of these, you need to have 7 people present. And remember, that's members and guests. All right, so it doesn't need to be 7 council members. It'd be 2 guys and 5 people from the parish. Just make sure you're working with your agents to make those happen and to be there. Next. All right, council goals. As you can see here, we've got the STAR councils. Excuse me. Council engagement, charitable giving, roundtables. Are you meeting your goals? All right, I'm shooting for 50 STAR councils this year. That should be doable. We're also looking to have all councils engaged, inviting new members, getting those new members and your existing members active, doing something in the community. And then, of course, making sure that all of our parishes are served by a council. Roundtable form should be in. So those parishes that aren't currently addressed with a council will be designated to a council in the near future. Okay. All right, faith formation goals. Are you encouraging your members? Are you telling them to attend Mass? Are you telling them to be part of the Eucharistic revival? Are you giving them opportunities for spiritual development? We have been selected for a new pilot program, and we'll start here in December, January. I've got 2 gentlemen going to Supreme for some training, where we are going to be developing things so that we can get you in the pipeline for that opportunity. Thank you. Next one. Assemblies. Hey guys, I really appreciate what the 4th degree did for Bishop Melchick's funeral. That is a hot, long weekend. Okay, somehow I got bumped. Okay, but that went well. Encourage your members to join the 4th degree. We have a new state master, that is Ryan Borden. Thank you. And I really want him to be successful. Rick did a pretty good job. He unfortunately had COVID that interfered with his efforts, but let's get that rolling. Next. I know I'm going longer than I should have. Yeah, statewide programming. Remember the Eucharistic revival stuff. Biking for Babies did incredible. Gibalt's, we had a good envoy conference. Make sure that when we have the March for Life, you've got members going. Sponsor somebody from your council. We need to fill those buses, and we need to encourage others to join us. And then lastly, we're going to talk about statewide fundraising. Probably the biggest thing on here. I mean, we're doing a good job with Gibalt. The fall appeal went well. Obviously, we've got the big disaster in Florida right now, so you've seen the request for assistance there. 2 big things. 1, license plates. Guys, we need you to get out there. We do not want to lose this. It was too difficult to get in the first place. And really, there's no reason why we can't have a couple thousand Knights of Columbus license plates in the state. I know you guys like your colleges and some of the other things that you support, but really, if you're a Knight, you ought to be supporting us through that program. That helps with our funding for Charity Fund Incorporated, which is our 501c3 that we use to support the disaster response and to support those Knights in need. And then lastly, and probably the biggest one for me, Women's Care Center. I have gotten things set up. We are now part of the Women's Care Center Foundation's we're a sub-account of that. We have a form that you could fill out. When you make that donation, you would send it in to us. We'll send you a receipt so that you can get your additional money from Supreme to go to that. And we really want to build that account up. I remember our goal is 10 million in 10 years. That's a lot of money, guys, but you know what? If we do that, we're making a huge improvement in what's available to those young ladies who get pregnant and are looking for options. I suggest listening to the October Night Vision because we talk about that quite a bit in that show. All right. Faith formation. Holy Hours, Eucharistic Revival. Keep up the good work. I was very happy with the response in June. Would have liked a little more in Indianapolis, but hey, we got it done. Know that there's going to be more going on. I've already seen stuff from Gary about another revival weekend. So keep aware of those things and be part of it. Okay, we are now going to move to membership. Frank, are you on and ready?
I am, and I am. So I'm going to start off with an apology. Everybody can hear me, right? Scott, nod your head, yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to start off with an apology. I already had another event I had to be at today, so that's why video's not on. I do want to thank everybody for being on the call Saturday morning. It's important. It's important to the state of Indiana. It's important to the Knights of Columbus. And it's important to the Catholic cause in general, as we all know, is under attack. Scott did a really good job of covering membership in its numbers. You know, we've invited 280 men to join us this year. That's good, not great, as he described. It's definitely short of our worthy state deputy's goal, right at Supreme's goal, but as we all know, we were looking for a fast start and that didn't happen. So I want to thank all of those who did contribute to the first quarter numbers. But I want you to imagine where we would be if the 125 councils that hasn't recruited even one member yet this year would have participated. Would have been a lot closer to Scott's goal. And, you know, at the end of the day, we all serve. So we need to talk about that. We need to get engaged. We need to talk about this. New councils, he had mentioned it. We thought we'd have the one up and running right now. It's real close. And there's 3 or 4 right behind it. Should be by the end of the year. So when we meet at the end of this fiscal year, when we meet at the end of the calendar year, I should say, hopefully we'll have the 3 that Supreme asked us to do and be working on that 5th, 6th, or 7th one for the entire year. Roundtables seem to be a real struggle. Right now we set at 8, as Scott mentioned, and we have all said, we want every parish to be served by the Knights of Columbus. The only way we're going to accomplish this is either we start new councils in them, or we partner up and get a roundtable going. If you are already doing that and failed to fill out the form, please fill out the form. It's a simple form. Mike, our roundtable chairman, can help you with it if you need help. But 8 is a little bit ridiculous, and I don't want to sound negative, but 8 is a little bit ridiculous. We really need to work on that. For the past 3 years, we've struggled with roundtables, and we need not do that this year. We need every parish served. Somebody unmuted. Thank you. All right. So with that, the presence in every parish. So I and the state family need a couple things. And we're not asking for a lot. Certainly ask. But okay. Am I good? Somebody keeps it.
We're having a little technical difficulty.
That sounds a lot weird. All right, whoever unmuted, muted, that's good. We have over 30 councils have not submitted their officers yet. That means we haven't even started the year. 60 no service personnel. How can we get anything done without the support? And to me, the biggest issue right now that's affecting us in the state is email. We as a organization have decided to go paperless, and to be able to accomplish what we need to accomplish, we need everybody on this call to commit to every council, every GK, every FS, checking their email. It's important. And not only check it, make sure that information gets to your meetings and then reply back when asked. I do want to thank all of you guys for listening in today. I really want to thank all of you for what you do in your parishes, for your families and the communities. God bless you all and thank you for serving. That's all I got, Scott. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point, we're going to turn it over to Dave Negrete to speak on programming.
Thank you, Scott. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here this morning. I appreciate you taking your time to speak with us and give up a little bit of your morning. Just a little bit update on programming. Everyone is doing very well. It seems like everyone has bounced back as best as they can from the pandemic and from the things that we've had to deal with the last couple of years. So our councils that are active are on par.
Learn this thing. I don't see up here. Usually you get yourself.
What's going on? I hear someone else. Please mute your microphone, please. Thank you. All right. Councils that are active are on par to be where they're going to be. Councils that are kind of stalled a little bit. Gentlemen, we need to look at that and see what we can do. So I don't want to go into numbers too much and bore you with statistics.
You've hit mute, Dave.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Okay. I wanted to speak about a couple of issues here. What works versus what doesn't work. What are other councils doing? And how can we help each other? Council program directors and council membership directors should dialogue with their counterparts in their district or neighboring districts to see what councils find successful versus what is not successful. A prime example of this is the Tootsie Roll Drive. What once started at one council has now taken the order by storm over the last several years. Council program directors should meet and discuss with their 4 main directors plus their event chairman to work out strategies that will enable council activities to be productive and attract new members or re-engage members who have become inactive. Program directors should utilize the member interest survey and poll their membership to get their feedback. The members will not want to engage if they feel their voice is not heard and their time and talents not appreciated. Second point I want to touch on, are your programs centered toward welcoming and making families feel welcome? Younger members will be attracted to the Knights of Columbus through opportunities that allow them to volunteer and help and accommodate their families. Gone are the days where mom stays home with the kids and dad goes to the council hall or the parish hall to hang out with the boys. If every council, for example, throughout the United States offered free daycare during a meeting, you'd see a ton of guys show up with the kids in tow to give mom a night off for a couple of hours. Another thing that we could examine would be a club that has long fallen by the wayside. Women's auxiliaries were very strong in the past. What if we brought them back? This time they could work in tandem with the council. Husband and wives tackled the responsibilities of the house together. They tackled the responsibility of the kids together. Why not tackle together the principles of our order? Our Faith in Action program regarding families gives us great opportunities for families to be engaged together in faith and charitable works. Council should look on bringing back emphasis on the Family of the Month program and start developing tactics to employ the Family Prayer Night and Family Week programs. Last point, Do you hold separate committee meetings and event planning sessions, or do you discuss every item at just a council business meeting? And officers, are you holding separate officer meetings? Gentlemen, members today are busier than ever. We hear a multitude of reasons why time is short, and therefore we should be valued and appreciated when we ask our members to give of themselves through their volunteer efforts. To bring back members to our business meetings, those meetings need to be punctual, professional, and to the point. Meetings should last no longer than 45 to 60 minutes. Discussions pertaining to the minutia of events, planning should be held outside of the business meeting and where they belong. That is at planning sessions, officer meetings, committee meetings. A young member in their 30s or 40s with young kids will be turned away from attending a meeting if at a meeting, discussion is held about the pancake breakfast and a 20-minute debate breaks out about the menu, what time to open the doors, what type of sausage gravy should be served, and so on. Today, your members just want to know what time to show up and what do you need them to do. Don't waste their time by being lazy and wanting to only meet once and then have a marathon meeting. Officers, have your own separate meeting to discuss agenda items and resolve conflicts, so nothing takes you by surprise at a business meeting. If a member suddenly shows up after months of being absent and wants to make a motion for a donation to a pet project, be knowledgeable in your Robert's Rules of Order and be prepared to swat down things that come out of left field. Our active councils are on par to be where they are every year. Inactive councils or councils who are having trouble finding their footing should sit down and reevaluate their options and tactics. Speak with other Grand Knights in your area who are having success with their programming. Reach out to your state leadership team for assistance. Speak with your district deputy for guidance. District deputies, if you need assistance with getting your councils in gear, speak with myself and the state leadership, and we will assist you in any way that we can. Each council leader and every district deputy should avail themselves of the training and the webinars that Supreme offers. If there isn't a certain type of training that you see and would like that, please let me know and we can arrange for a session of some sort. I'm always willing and ready to sit down and assist councils and district leaders in excelling at their role. I cannot do anything if there isn't a willingness to learn, adapt, or succeed, but I can guarantee you I'll be with you every step of the way if you have the desire, the gravitas to be the one who makes the difference. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you all this morning. God bless you and Vivat Jesus. Scott, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Okay. We're going to start now on the council highlights. So our council highlight for Gary is St. Michael Council 1542. Scott Zabrowski, are you available to speak?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Thank you.
You-
So Scott, just a quick 5-minute review of why you've been so successful and been able to make STAR for 7 years in a row.
Well, Scott, 9 years ago, we began a new program in our council where we just began building relationships. You know, the men that are your members, you need to know them and be friends with them. And to recruit new men, you need to be known, you need to get a comfort level. When we start our building, working towards recruiting a man, we want to know him and we want him to know what we are and how we operate, really. And we do that primarily in our parishes by being visible witnesses, by involvement in the church and the community. I mean, it's pretty simple. If you follow the Faith in Action programming, you will be active and you can be successful, and that's what we have adopted. So we're using every opportunity that we in that program to recruit people. They see us. You know, if you're a visible witness, then they understand more about what we are doing. This weekend, actually, we have a pork chop dinner going on, and we have men working at a Habitat for Humanity. Next weekend, we have our Tootsie Roll drive for 3 days. So we're an active council. Sometimes it seems like we got a lot going on, but it helps keep members engaged. If you don't have engagement, you can't get much done. And that's why we've been successful for the last few years. We were about being involved in our church, in our community, and getting guys to help us do it and kind of share the fun, because it's a lot of fun to give money away. And when we raise money for women's care or for Special Olympics, it's I take pride in it, the meeting, us talking about how much money we sent to what charity. The other thing is, we remember that in our council, that membership really is a 365-day-a-year job. Recruiting doesn't end with that Delta drive. It may begin with that Delta drive, but that's just getting your name out there. For us to be able to recruit a man, we're going to have to get that one-on-one relationship, learn about his family, and have him see us at Mass. Most of our active members are involved in all of the ministries within our parish, various ministries, whether it's just an usher or a leader in the stewardship commission. We're involved in our parish. Our pastor knows us, our priests know us, and actually all three of them in our parish are members of our council. Some other things we started too was we went back to we say a rosary before every council meeting. We keep our council meeting to the 45 minutes to an hour that Dave talked about. And we do have separate business meetings where we take care of the minutia. And then there's always the problem that you have when you're recruiting men is if you delay them in initiation. So we will get our degree team together to do 1 or 2 men, and we don't make them wait for more than 2 weeks. Once we've accepted their, it's easy. It's a 28-minute initiation, and then we go down to our bar area, and because we're still in a hall, and have a pop or a drink with that man and learn more about him and talk about ourselves. It's just those little things, we do a monthly newsletter. We do follow-up newsletters during the month to remind people of things coming up, what's coming up. So we use email, we use calling post, we use our parish bulletin. And when we get new members in, when we get them to the meeting, we invite them to enter into discussion with us, because they're our future leaders. They're what we're going to be. In the last 9 years, we have basically replaced 1/3 of our membership in that 9 years. That's what I have,
Amazing.
Scott.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Makes me almost want to move to LaPorte and join your council. Hang tight, because when we get questions, I will definitely bring them back to you. Okay. So Archdiocese of Indianapolis, we're going to talk about St. Francis and Clare Council. My current Grand Knight is out of town. Our FS is serving at a Mass, but you'll hear that as I play a recording that we did for this.
Okay, everybody, this will be Council 16305, the representative for the Archdiocese of Indianapolis. Representing them is James Verkasner, the current financial secretary and immediate past Grand Knight for the council. So Jim, how are you doing?
Doing great, Scott. Thank you.
All right, excellent. So this is my home council, so this is kind of fun being able to highlight this. Jim, last year as Grand Knight, you made some changes to how we operate. Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure, Scott. Well, last year the Supreme Council, gave us new guidance on our monthly meetings. So instead of a council meeting and a social meeting, we have a planning meeting and a general council meeting. So beginning with the fraternal year, we decided to open up our general meeting to not just Knights, but their families in particular, and invite others to come and join us. So we lifted that kind of veil of secrecy, and also encouraged our Knights and families to interact more in terms of the activities that we promote as Knights of Columbus. The Knights have never seen a charity that they didn't support. So there were lots of opportunities, and it gave us a vehicle to bring the families into those activities together, participating together, which improved our ability to serve the charities that we were supporting. You have more hands, and you have more support for the Knights actively participating in those. And also, I think it made the family stronger to be participating with their Knights in the family.
Excellent. Now, I know we also do that with the new exemplification. So with that, we're inviting friends and family to participate, and participate, they get to watch. But do you feel that that's made any difference with recruiting?
I think it has, because a lot of people, a lot of the new Knights, when we first approached them, they still had that impression that we were going to have, some secret ceremony, and they would be, sworn not to divulge anything that occurred, which, quite honestly was part of what our previous exemplification process. Now we were saying, hey, there's nothing that you have to be concerned about. It's an open experience. Bring your families and let them participate and watch what we're all about. When the families sit there and they hear, about our unity, fraternity, those principles, they see that as matching what they want their husbands to be doing and their sons to be doing, as well as what it means to them as a family. So I think it was a positive plus there.
Excellent. Now, when I was the district deputy and started the council, we were undergoing a change in pastoral guidance. So we had Father Vince when I first broached the idea of a new council, and he was all for it. And then there was a transition to Father Steve Giannini, who is the current pastor at the parish. And Father Steve was less, shall we say, excited about the Knights. In fact, his words to me is, "I'm not going to pick one group over another, so I will not be joining the Knights," and the like. So I know it was kind of a cool relationship, but it seems to be that that's improving. Would you agree on that?
Definitely, Scott. I think we came in, it's a fairly new parish. It's about 30 years old. We did not have a council at the parish. There was a council for all of Greenwood, but it was more aligned, obviously, with the other parish in town. And what the parish did was it formed a men's club, which was focused right on activities within the parish. And when we began the council, we were the new kid on the block, and I think there was some sense of, well, what are the Knights of Columbus going to do that are myriad of other ministries and the men's club weren't already doing. So we had a building process, and part of that building process was to kind of build the trust relationship about what we were about, not only within the parish, but also with our new pastor. As we went along, one of the things that I think our Father Steve appreciated was that we were clearly a faith and family oriented organization. And we did things such as promoting the consecration to the Holy Family. That was, both faith and family. So
No?
that was a win-win type of thing. I believe as we engaged in those types of activities with Father's approval and consent, he began to be more appreciative of the Knights of Columbus.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Jim, that's our 5 minutes. So I appreciate you joining me for this discussion. I know you are actually helping out with a funeral mass during the meeting on Saturday. So I hope that mass goes well and that our council continues to do well.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. And that, just very quickly, that is one of the services that we as Knights provide to our parish. We provide the altar service for every funeral mass at our parish.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, Jim.
Thank you. Bye now.
Okay, so that concludes that one.
Okay, everybody, this will be Council 6.
Sorry about that. So let's move on. So Evansville Diocese it was recommended to speak with Auxilio Council 16454 about their efforts. I hope they're on. I'm trying to, Nick, we could be able to speak. You'll have to unmute.
Morning, Scott. John Sandwell here.
Oh, hey, John.
I'm a member of Auxilio Council. We're probably the youngest council in the diocese. And I think the key thing is when you're new, you don't know any better, and you see something, you think it ought to be done, and you do it, whether it's right or wrong. As a result, our guys just went out and the first 5 years just went crazy. We got a 5-star one year, we got a 2-star. But I think the thing I'm most proud of as a former Grand Knight there was our Hunger Bowl program. I read in Nightline, gosh, it's been 6 years now, and it was a December issue. I'll never forget it. They had a story about two councils in Florida, and they had a big rivalry game, and they asked each player to donate so much money per point scored in the game, regardless of who won. And then they took that money and bought Thanksgiving dinners for families in need in their parishes. And I thought we could do a little better in Evansville.
Hey, John.
And,
Could you just speak up just a little bit? Some people are
Sure.
having trouble hearing you.
Okay, yeah, I'm not a problem speaking louder. Anyway, we decided to try it here, and as you know, with any program, you got to have a base. So I went to my council to see if they would support me on it. They said absolutely. I went to 2 other councils in Evansville, and they said, yeah, let's do it. And we got to talk to the high schools, and they said, let's forget the football teams. Let's go ahead and get the student bodies involved. Bottom line is we raised $3,000. We were tickled silly. This was our 6th year this year. And incredibly, I mean, Walt was there. He saw it in action. We raised almost $22,000 this year. Wow. So in 6 years, we've raised about $57,000, all going to St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry. We now have 7 councils involved, 12 grade schools, 2 high schools. one fourth degree assembly. So it's just grown by leaps and bounds, and we couldn't be more thrilled with it. And I think this is something we overlook. We do our things in our individual councils that are great programs, no doubt about that. But if you pair with another council or another two councils, the synergy that it creates and the whole thing just gets huge. So in a nutshell, that's where we're at.
Well, thank you very much, John. That is definitely one of the things that I've been trying to highlight is councils working together to create even larger response. And it's wonderful. You guys have done an excellent job with that. It was kind of fun when you're listing all the different groups. I was waiting for the partridge in a pear tree, which is like the 12 Days of Christmas. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will now move on to the Lafayette Diocese. Dave Doran will be speaking about Council 13968. And Dave, as I understand, you guys are starting a new faith formation program.
Yes, thank you for asking me to speak, worthy state deputy. Yes, we have just completed our spiritual reflection program last Saturday, and Ted Shaw asked me our council to speak about it. First, I wanted to say one of the things our council has done is pick talented individuals to serve as directors. And our faith director is very talented and very passionate. And he has done several successful programs. Our most recent one was a family prayer. And it involved, back in the 1950s, you may not recall this, there was a priest named Father Patrick Peyton, who promoted the rosary. And he had the tagline, "The family that prays together stays together." And so thus our most recent spiritual reflection program involving both the Frankfurt Council and the Lebanon Council, because we're together in a pastorate. So the two councils went together and did this spiritual reflection program last week. And it's slowly gaining popularity in the parish, because the first one we had what we thought were less than optimum number of participants, but this one we had 12 members, 10 plus 16 non-members. So we had 28 people there, and it was a half a day program starting at 9 a.m. for mass. And then we had our pastor speak about the joy of the mass, and then we had discussion, and we had the movie about Father Patrick Peyton and the successes he had back in the 1950s and 60s in promoting family prayer. In fact, he was got to be very popular, where he was getting 1 million people at his rallies. So can you imagine 1 million Catholics coming together, all holding a rosary up and praying the rosary, promoting the rosary, promoting family prayer? So that's what this day of reflection was about, is promoting family prayer, getting it reestablished in our families. Again, the tagline, "The family that prays together stays together." So this is what our council has done. Last year, we had one on Father Emil Kapaun, who was martyred as a Korean War prisoner. And this year, it was Father Patrick Peyton. So essentially, that's what we have been doing. One of the activities we've been doing at the Lebanon Council.
Excellent. Thank you, Dave. And as John had just mentioned, it's growing. You started off with a small number last year. This year, it sounds like you're up into the 30s. It'll keep growing as you keep doing it. And I remember seeing the movie about Father Patrick Peyton advertised not too long ago. So that was very timely. So thank you. All right, South Bend, Fort Wayne South Bend Diocese, Father Thomas A. Brandon, Council 451. Do we have someone on there to speak? Let me unmute. Going once. Hello? Going once, going twice. All right. We had an alternative to them. Rick, the council that you mentioned that I got late last night, are they with you or are they online? Brother Burmeister? I think it was council 10371 or 731. Hello? Rick, I saw you online earlier. Okay, well, I guess we're going to pass over Fort Wayne South Bend for today. We'll try and get their information. What I'll probably do is just interview them and then we'll pass that on via email to everyone. Okay.
Scott, I'm sorry, you get, if you were looking for South Bend, it's council 17043. They are here.
Okay, would they like to speak, please?
Yeah, one moment, please.
Very good. Morning.
Good morning. I'm Brian Peterson, the Deputy Grand Knight for Council 17043.
Okay.
We have been very successful in 4 years in a row, and mainly because we get started early in the year. When we plan our year, our council members know when the activities are going to happen. We coordinate it with the church council to make sure that the church knows when it's going to happen. We can get it into the bulletin. Everyone can have it on their calendar, and it's much easier to get gentlemen to come and support fundraising events, any of the activities going on in the church when they know several weeks and sometimes even months ahead of time when we're going to host it, when we're going to have it, and when we need their help. We just most recently did a mum drive where we sold mums, partnering with one of the local greenhouses here in town, and we're able to, our very first time doing it, where we're very successful and actually beat our goal that we set for ourselves. But we planned this almost 4 months ago. So we're already planning next year's, and we're already setting the date with the church. The other reason I think that we're super successful is because we are actually in a parish and we have very strong support from Father Julius. Whenever we get up to do a drive to recruit more members, we were just talking about it a few moments ago. It's almost funny. By the time Father finishes his pitch for joining the council, you almost want to just drop the mic and say exactly what Father said. So having a good connection with the parish council, having a good connection with the church, and the church sees us as serving the church, it really helps us to be successful.
Excellent, thank you. I love that you guys are planning far enough ahead and that you're coordinating things with your parish. That's what we all should be looking at doing. Because then obviously you can get non-members involved. So that's wonderful. Okay, thank you. All right, so that ends our highlighted councils. And we, as you saw, we had one from each diocese. So it's not just a certain location. We'll now start in with some quick officer comments. Gil, if you would, you've got 5 minutes. Are you there, Gil?
Sorry, I had on mute there. So, yep. Yeah. Do you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to call on a couple topics that are coming across the board here for me. State Secretary, some of the issues that are starting to pop up with some of the councils, and I'm just trying to get the information out to help you guys so that we can get things processed. And I want to thank you guys for taking out time today to gather the knowledge and information to help improve yourself and your council with the information. So with that, of course, please hold off with any questions and that until afterwards. One of the main things is having the council numbers along with the name or city on the check. Guys have to remember there's over 200 councils or around 200 councils in the state. And if you just put Knights of Columbus, we don't know who to credit it to. So if you're not sure, you can always see the example that's in your state program guide. That should be your number one go-to resource in the state. Because per supreme requirements of the legal use of the name and emblem and logo, you must have the information there for your council number and city and all that. And the council FS and Grand Night can always reference that in the desk reference section of the Supreme online login. So I'm constantly getting, well, not constantly, but there's quite a few councils that they're sending the checks without the forms, or they don't have the info on there. And then they're asking why it's taking a little while to process it. And it's because we have to try to determine who you guys are. Because like I said, there are approximately 200 councils in the state. If you just put Knights of Columbus on there, there's a lot of Knights of Columbus councils there. So just, something try to do to help yourself in the processing of the submitted check. Also too, make sure you have the purpose of your submitted check in the memo line, whether it be per capita when you're sending stuff to me, or if it's something for your charitable donations, make sure you have what the purpose is in there. It'll help determine what the check is for. Because we have received multiple forms and checks in the same envelope, and it helps determine and process the check. Always remember too, a form or the invoice copy must always accompany the check submitted. So make sure you have that in there too, because there's times I've gotten in the envelope, there's just a return address on the back of the envelope there. And then there's a check, there's nothing in the memo line. It just says Knights of Columbus, and it is kind of hard to determine. So, it's just common courtesy to try to help process this stuff. And also too, we get a lot of people asking about state officer contacts. The information's in the state program guide and in the state directory. And then you should always be reaching out to your district deputy if you do need some assistance with the information, and he'll be able to help you with that. I want to thank all the councils who submitted their 2022 per capita invoices already. It's appreciated. I'll be getting some information back to you guys too, because there's a couple councils that are still past due. So we'll be following up with that. Remember, communication is key to having a successful council, especially communication of officer information between your council officers and your district deputy. I'm getting quite a few of the council treasurers that they don't know where to send the check or how to, do this, and they don't have the form because the Grand Night or FS hasn't passed that information. Communication makes things a lot easier. So just keep everybody involved in the information there. Another thing to check too is on the check itself. We've had several checks where the numerical information in the box for the amount of the check and the written amount don't match exactly. Please verify that this information is correct on there, because otherwise it gets to the bank and then the bank refuses to process it, and then we have to follow up. Also too, I've had questions on where to email or where to mail the per capita checks. The information is on the invoices, but like I said, a lot of times the financial secretary and Grand Night get that information through the email, but they're not passing that on to the council treasurer, who's the one who's actually writing the checks. So make sure you guys communicate and get that out there so they know where to send it. And just a couple things too, because a few people don't realize that there are different accounts in the state. The state secretary handles the per capita and the general account for running the state's operating expenses. And then the state treasurer handles the charity account and the charitable donations submitted by the councils. So this should help you in determining where and who gets the forms. Another thing coming up here is we do want you guys to start preparing for the state convention in April. Just a reminder though, that the attendee registration is electronic only. You'll have to go online and submit that electronically. But in addition to registering, just remember where's it? Whoop, too far there. The delegate and alternate forms that are submitted to the state secretary, those are still paper forms. So those need to be processed by the financial secretary, your council, after your council's voted on your delegates and alternates, and that must be mailed to me, the state secretary. And let's see. Then also too, I've heard a few of the council saying that they wish they had more council members at their meetings. And just a reminder, our state convention is our state council meetings, and your councils are members. So don't be a hypocrite. Make sure you get your representatives to the state convention this spring. Also, and the next thing here too, as far as information, the information that's in the state directory that's being published, that comes from the Indiana Form 1 that you guys submit on time. It's got to be in by the required due date. Otherwise, we can't put it in the book, and then the book goes to printing. So make sure you get those in by the required due date. And also remember that that information in the state directory is confidential and restricted, and it's only for Knights of Columbus use only. If your council number or council information is incorrect, then resubmit submit the Form 1 to the state deputy, the state admin, and the state program director, and they can go ahead and make sure you copy your DD with that form too, in case there's a question. He can follow up with you that. And then the printed copies of the state directory will be sent to the council FS that's on record on the Supreme list. So if the wrong guy gets it, you need to update that with Supreme. I've already found a couple of them that need to update with Supreme on their stuff as far as who their officers and that are. So thank you for taking time out today and gathering information to help you yourself and your council succeed. So I just want to thank you guys for all that, and have a great day, and Viva Jesus.
Hey, it's the whole family, almost.
Maybe somebody else wants to join in on there.
Hi, buddy.
Especially since it's a.
Whoever family is joining, you need to mute.
Boy,
Hello,
I look like a tiger.
Look at who's here.
gotta love it.
That's so Yankee guy.
He's happy as a clam, isn't he?
I think she means cheetah.
Cheetah.
Leopard. Yeah, which- yeah, I saw a video of you dancing with Ethan. And
Okay. I should be, you can all hear me, yes? Somebody text me, yes. All right. Thanks, Gil. Just so everybody knows, we do, thank you, Scott. We do post the state directory online. So if you get or make an adjustment after the publication, the new information is updated regularly. And so the most current directory will be available online. The state convention is going to be early May next year. We're going to be at the Hyatt Regency. I just signed a contract with them. We had some issues with the other location that we were looking at, so we've had to make some adjustments there. But further information will be coming out on that soon. Okay. Here we go. Sir Knight, Robert Valinsky, it's your turn, our state treasurer. Bob, you need to unmute yourself.
Yes. All right. Good morning, gentlemen. Let me find my my notes here real quickly. First off, thanks for taking the time this morning. I've got a couple of brief comments, but you'll want to take note of them. I know that our worthy state secretary had touched on a couple of these. First, I know we're all in a rush. We're all rushing around to finish one task and moving quickly to the next. But if you would, gentlemen, you need to pause and take a moment to make certain you've included all the relevant details in your correspondence. I'm talking about when you email myself with a question, or if you email the state secretary or any state officer. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but it really makes things a lot easier if you include your first and last names in the email. We know as many of you as we do, but some of you we don't. And if we got a lot of brothers named Jim in the order. Okay, so thanks, Bob. Jim doesn't really help a lot. So you need to include your council number along with the phone number, just in case we have any questions, because then I've got to go to the directory and I've got to look up the number and we have to do this and I have to call Gil, or I have to, so just, you can never give us too much information. And that way we can get back to you and get things taken care of. Okay, now here's something that I just wanted to go over the process quickly with you guys. A couple of these things very quickly. I know that our state secretary covered on, but it's charity form and check submissions. I know you guys want your money in a timely manner. We want to get you your money in a timely manner, but in order to do that, a couple of things have to happen. I know Gil mentioned this paperwork. Make it legible so that we can read the information on the form, so that we can match up the amounts on the forms with what the check should be, and et cetera. And they just have to be readable. Checks need to be made out to, and we're going to tell you this every time we get together, the Indiana State Council, not the treasurer. Don't make them out to Gil. I know he appreciates the extra cash, but don't make them out to Gil. You don't make them out to the KFC. Not the Knights of Columbus. I mean, technically it's correct, but the bank still kind of frowns on that. And don't make it out to the fund where the monies, for whom the monies were raised. Do not make it out to the charity that you had your Tootsie Roll drive for, where you wanted it to go. Now, here's the thing that is really going to impact you guys most. Remember that all state issued checks require 3 signatures. All right. So that being said, we're going to go over real quickly how forms and checks get processed and how that timeline pans out. All right. So first, council does a fundraiser, holds a Tootsie Roll drive. You have a fish fry, whatever the case may be. Your council collects the funds, and your FS then sends off the relevant activity forms designating how the funds need to be distributed to the eligible charities, along with a check to the state treasurer. The council does not, we just had this issue earlier, does not issue a check directly to the charity. You can, but it just means you're forfeiting receiving credit for that activity. Now, here's where the process begins, and this is important. So once your activity form and checks are dropped in the mail, you got to figure out at least 3 days for them to be received by the state treasurer. And remember, those forms and checks are being sent from councils all over the state. So once they're received, here's what happens. The forms and the checks are scanned and entered into the appropriate accounting software. We're using QuickBooks. And once all that processing is finished, FS letters, checks, deposit summaries, those all need to be printed, signed, and placed in envelopes. But wait, there's more. Finally, deposits and checks need to be packaged, dropped in the mail, and sent to the state advocate for his signature. So you figure another 3 to 5 days there. And this is just on average, gentlemen. And then the advocate makes the necessary deposit, signs checks, and then he mails them out to the council. So barring any unseen complications, that's the whole process in a nutshell. So we're just asking you to take that into account when before you make promises to your charities about when a check might be delivered. So we're not counting on mess ups in the mail. We're not counting on the situations where the bank may reject a check. We're not counting on any number of things that could happen. And basic was a standing operating procedure for most processing in businesses is actually 30 to 60 days. So you can't expect to send us a check on a Monday and have a check the next Monday. So, you know, it's not about dragging our feet. It's not about sitting on, again, we want you to get your money as quickly as you can. Just need you guys to have that understanding. There are always going to be, circumstances where there might be a complication or something. I try to get things out. I try to get something out every Monday. So if I have, 4 or 5 checks to send to the advocate, or if I have 30 checks to send to the advocate, I try to get something on at least once a week. We've gone through the transition period, was a little rough. COVID and a whole lot of other things caused some complications, but we should be back on track. And as always, shoot me an email, give me a call if you have any questions. I appreciate your patience this morning, and that's my report. Vivat Jesus, worthy state deputy.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, guys, remember, the business account is what we draw on as the state to run our business. The charity account is a flow through. So you send us a check, we put it at the bank, we send you checks back. The charity account holds on to money for those particular items like the March for Life, where we collect money from several people and then we write the check to the bus line or the restaurant, or the hotel, or maybe Safe Haven baby boxes where we get 2 or 3 of them and then we send them a larger check. But for the most part, money in, money out. So you're not waiting on per capita to pay you guys. That all comes to our business work. So, all right, we're moving on to probably the part you've been waiting for. So guys, this is going to be our town hall discussion. What I want is that if your council has something that you'd really like to share with people as a great thing that you have accomplished or doing, feel free to speak up. If you're having, as a council, issues, you can't figure out how to get along with your priest, you're not getting the membership drive to work, whatever it may be, now's the time to say, hey, here's an issue for me. And we will take that and share it, and hopefully someone will have a good suggestion as to how to address it. So I see Brett Ridgway, you've raised your hand. Feel free to unmute and ask or speak away.
All right, good morning all. So wanted to let everybody know that we will be going back in person this year at Gibault for the day after Christmas party for the kids. So letters will be going out from the folks at Gibault within the next few weeks regarding your support for the gifts that we buy for the kids for that particular event. But we are going in person this year at Gibault. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. That's a wonderful news. I'm looking forward to being able to come out and visit with you guys this year. If you are a little shy and don't want to speak, feel free to type your question or comment into the chat, and I will share that with everyone. Who would like to go next? Just raise your hand and unmute. Nobody? Everybody's in good condition and doesn't have anything to discuss.
Hey, Scott,
Yes.
I can let you know
Oh, there's Roger. Welcome.
that, excuse me, 6 minutes ago, we got Council 11896 in their email.
Oh, excellent. Was that the one that asked earlier?
Yes.
All right. So that's good news. So, gentlemen, while we were discussing goals and things, council, I'm sorry, what was that number again, Roger? 11896, does that sound right? Sent in a question.
Yes.
Needed access to their email. I directed them to speak with Roger, and Roger has already got them in. So it's as easy as that. All you got to do is ask for access. We will reset your password and get you in. It's important that you have access to the state email. That is our way to reach out to you. We are not sending out paper letters anymore. That's an expense that we don't want to incur because we don't want to raise your per capita if we don't have to. So email, we've got an email through Google for not-for-profits, and it is much easier for us to just email everyone. It doesn't cost me anything because I've already paid for a one-time fee for the year, and I can send out as many emails as I want, and it doesn't cost me 55 cents per stamp every time I do so. Charlie Davis, I see you have a comment to share.
Yeah, this is Charlie Davis, Council 437. I go to St. Philip Neri Church here in Indianapolis, and we have a huge Hispanic population, which is larger than the Anglo population. How is it that we can engage Hispanics into the Knights of Columbus, or is there a council that in the area that they might join?
Okay. Well, we have two options there. One, if they have enough members at the parish, we could do a parish-based Spanish council. I have a Hispanic council coordinator, Wilfredo Rivera in central Indiana, who could help coordinate that. If you just need to start a discussion with them, he can meet with you and act as translator. If you're wanting, I would assume that trying to pull them into an Anglo council would be difficult because of the language barrier. We do have a couple of Hispanic councils here in Indianapolis. One on the east side at Holy Spirit at 10th and Shortridge. One at St. Gabriel's on the west side, and then another one at St. Anthony on the near west side. That one, one of the kids, if I remember correctly. So there are 3 existing Hispanic councils, but we could always add another one. and St. Philip Neri would be a great place to do it. So, shoot me a note and I will get my Hispanic Council Coordinator over there. And maybe you and he can meet with the pastor and we can broach that question to them. Okay, let's see here. Council 7431 does a family rosary and meal one Sunday a month. Lots of families participate. It would be helpful if these kinds of meetings would have a way to deal with language barriers for Spanish. My Spanish councils would not benefit from coming to these meetings because they wouldn't know what is going on. And I agree. That's one of the things that we're working on. Supreme has been very good about translating their documents and presentations into Spanish. Of course, they have a nice budget and they have a staff. We don't have the budget and we're all volunteers. So, but that said, I am going to do my best to get these things translated. I know Google Translate works well. So if you need to speak with somebody who speaks Spanish or Burmese or Vietnamese or whatever language it is, I know that Google Translate can do that. Sometimes it's not the greatest, but it's all about how clearly you speak. You may have to repeat yourself a couple times before it catches on to what you're actually saying. Okay, District 35, you raised your hand. Go ahead, unmute and speak. And Brett, I'll get to you next. Greg, you have to unmute.
I've lowered my hand, Scott. Thank you.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm trying to get a hold of District 35.
Sorry, I'm having issues with my technology. I'm speaking to the other computer we're on. I was just calling, we were talking about membership, barriers to membership. I have one council that's really struggling because all their members who are active enough to go out and try to recruit are not active enough. I mean, they're all elderly, and it's hard to pull in those new members to take over. And they're really struggling right now with that, as well as, another council who's doing really well, but they don't have a lot of membership pool because most of their community is Amish and Protestant. And so they're really out in the community, but the people they pull in is very limited. And the membership that they've been speaking to, they've already pulled many times already. So it's just like speaking to the choir. But the biggest thing I see as the obstacle is when you get a council that was real active in the past, still has that core membership, but that core membership is getting to the age where they just can't do what they used to do. And how do you pull in new members from that when you don't even have the members to go out and recruit?
Okay. So Matt, you mentioned a large Amish population. Whereabouts are you?
That would be in the Paoli Council.
Oh, Paoli, sure. Okay.
This is Greg Brodfier. I'm speaking on Matt's phone. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
My phone died.
Gotcha. Here's the thing. What I realize that recruiting can be difficult in some areas of the state because the population of Catholics is minimal. When we went to French Lick this summer for a summer meeting, I had thought about using the local church, and I walked over and we'd have overflowed the church. It was so small. And I understand that, I used to work in that area, and I was a state officer, and I was looking around at the churches and the people in the area, and I'm sitting there going, there's just not enough Catholics. So what I would recommend to you is to really focus on your programs and what it is that you're doing and your evangelization. There's a lot of people out there who really don't know what they want. And I'm speaking primarily to the younger people out there. There's a lot of people who are what are called nuns, NONEs, because they know they want something in their life, but they just don't have God there. And so if we are out doing prayer services, if we're out praying in front of Planned Parenthoods and abortion providers, if we are out even on the street corner just doing a Eucharistic procession, those people see that and they may look at it and say, that's interesting. Let me go find out more. Support your priests. Make sure that the RCIA programs are filled with your members who are there guiding these new people in the faith so that they become Catholic. And if that's the case, there's your new members because they chose to be Catholic. That you can't beat that. My wife's a convert, and she's probably better at the religion than I am, and I'm a cradle Catholic. There's plenty of times where she's called me on that. So I'm sorry.
That's a good deal.
Oh, and as is Walter, our state advocate, because they chose the religion. They really focus on what all that means, and so that is something that you could be, if you're out evangelizing, you're going to find people that want to become Catholic, is what I'm saying. And so focus on that, and then the rest will fall in place. Okay, I see something about the speaker can't change closed captioning to Spanish. Okay, that's fine. Oh, thank you, Scott. Good comment. Converts are members that come on fire. Yes, they are, and we love that. District 10, mileage reimbursement state convention is missing. No, it was not a credit on per capita. If you did not receive your reimbursements, you need to reach out to me and the state secretary. I did send them to everyone that was at the convention. If you didn't receive it, either I had the wrong address and it went somewhere it didn't go or shouldn't have gone, or lost in the mail somewhere. So we will get you a new check cut and we'll cancel the old one. Okay, any other comments, questions? Yes, Ed.
Hey, Scott, just a comment. If a form like 185 or 365 has not been submitted in several years and you're trying to submit a new one,
yes.
I've worked with Supreme. The DDs must sign as Grand Knight and say signing as Grand Knight in order to get that form is because obviously they don't know the new GK. So sign the form where it says Grand Knight, sign it as the DD, noting you are DD for that.
Very good. Yeah. I know we're having some issues. We've got a council that's Burmese, and their paperwork has gotten a little confusing with COVID. They didn't meet like they should have, and so we're trying to correct that. So we will make sure. And if you don't have a DD, reach out to me and I will take that role on for you, or you can speak with our diocesan chairman. They can also help with that. See here, note from Daniel Brock. We contact the men in the RCIA program as soon as they are baptized. We have a number of converts. Excellent, good job. Chris, thank you for putting this together. Appreciate the information. I'm not sure who Chris is, but thank you for the comment. Anyone else?
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
This is Greg Broadfoot again from District 35. We've had a lot of discussion and the councils are starting to have discussion on the whole discussion of who can be involved in our meetings and in our exemplifications. We brought that up today and one of the diocese shared that they were very active in that process of kind of merging their families more into the meetings than just the men. And then I just wanted to know kind of what your guidance is on that, because there's a lot of rules, and if you go by like council rules and things like, if you have somebody come in that's a guest, you got to vote on it and have all this discussion. What's your guidance about merging that, but also following council guidelines? Is it something that we should be very concerned on, or is that something that each council can address it as they see fit?
Okay, well, I'm gonna let you in on a few things. First, Supreme changed things about 2 years ago. When they changed the exemplification, they made it open to the public, so you can, and this may be helpful in recruiting, is do them right after Mass or right before Mass. Obviously, you got to get permission from your pastor, but you know, at Council 16305, we do them right after the Mass. We use, and that's what's recommended from Supreme. We invite everyone to sit in because it is now an open event. They're going through the first, second, and third degree, but we're letting people know what's going on because, gee, you know, Joe went in, but Joe's brother might decide, oh, hey, this is pretty cool, I'll join too, you know, or somebody from the parish could be sitting in and say, oh, I didn't know that's what the Knights did. All right. Now, when it comes to the council, what we are doing at 16305, we have the officer/business meeting. That is just council members. Okay, and that is where we do the setting of the agenda for the year, the planning. That is where we decide on where money's going to go for the most part. And kind of laying out the details. And then we will have, so in the past you had a business meeting and social meeting. So our social meeting now, it used to be just the guys. We've opened it up and said, hey, bring the family, bring your friends. We will have everyone there, and then we will open it up with prayer. We'll have some fraternity, a meal generally, and then we will, at the end, have a quick open meeting where we talk about what the council is doing. So we're looking at, you know, next month, we're going to have a prayer meeting on this day. We're going to go do 40 Days for Life on this day, you know, that kind of stuff. We had one that went more like a business meeting, and the ladies were like, this is boring, we don't know, we're going to come back and say, fine, we'll just do announcements. And that made it a lot better. Because, you know, the women are there and want to support us, and yeah, they may want to go with us on some of these things. But that's you know, they don't want to hear the minutia. So with regards to bylaws and things, Supreme has a presentation that's going to come out here in October. And I just got an email last night on it, and so let me see if I can find that real quick. But on that, they're going to be talking about changes in Supreme bylaws and the rules of the order. That is probably useful on that, so that you guys can see that. And to that extent, you can expect that to convert into your local bylaws. And if you need to adjust your bylaws, just make the adjustments and submit it to Supreme. If they have any issues with it, they'll let you know, but usually it's pretty quick, and then you can make those adjustments at your local council. Let's see here. October the 20th, Thursday at 8 p.m., important updates for operations and programs. And again, this is updates in the charter, constitution, and laws of the order. So they'll give you an update there on those sorts of things. Okay, does that answer everything for you, Matt? Okay.
Yeah, again, this is Greg Berkeley. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Greg.
Matt Lincoln, but
Yeah. But does that answer your question, Greg? I'm gonna assume it does. Okay, Jerry, the convention is May of next year. Let me scroll through my calendar here real quick because I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head. I want to say the weekend of the 7th of May. 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. I believe it is May 5, 6, 7. It will be at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Indianapolis. It's a great location. And thanks to our state advocate's daughter who helped coordinate that. She did a great job in helping me to get that going. Let's see here. Ryan Grill, you had some things to mention about the soccer challenge, if you would like to unmute. Ryan? Did we lose you? Oh, there you go.
Hey, Scott, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. We've been having some audio issues for my district here, all 6 councils that are present. So real quick, I just wanted to let everyone know that's on the call about the soccer challenge. There was a flyer that I emailed to all the district deputies and the state officers to let them know we're going to have 2 regionals this year for the soccer challenge. The first one's going to be the northern half of the state, which will be districts 1 through 16. And that's going to be held up here. That's going to be considered our North Regional. It'll be held in Mishawaka over at Queen of Peace. That'll be a week from today. And then the times up here in South Bend, Mishawaka is Eastern time. So for those that are coming from the Northwest area, please reiterate that to anyone that may be coming. And then in 3 weeks, we will have the Central Regional, which similar to last year, will comprise of the Southern and Central region just because of the amount of participants that we normally get from the southern part of the state and Central. That's going to be at Lebanon. I believe it is Reese Park. So it's the same location it was last year. Both these regionals are going to be, I hate to clarify this for everybody, but both those regionals, the district winners, or if there's not a district competition and it was just a council that had a competition, all those winners have to go through the regionals. And then the winners from the North Regional and the Central Regional, they will then go down to Guerin High School, which will be October 30th, which is a Sunday. So it's a little bit later this year to best respect everyone's schedule. So just wanted to clarify that a flyer was sent out. It's got all the details on it. I'm going to see about if we can get that flyer put on the state website as well, just so it's there. But I do ask all the district deputies. I sent out a survey and I've only gotten a handful of responses. Even if your district is not doing a competition, I need the district deputies to fill out that survey to let me know. It also has in there, I have 1 council that's competing. I have 2 councils. Gave plenty of choices, but this will just help me prepare for both the regionals. So I would ask everyone fill that out. Similarly, last thing I'll talk about soccer, similarly to that, I sent out a survey to all the council email addresses, which has the state families reiterate with the Google account that we have. Every council should be utilizing that. It's got all the information in there. But I sent a separate soccer survey out to all the councils, just in case you're in a council that doesn't have a district deputy, you can still fill that out to let me know, hey, we had a competition. That way I have a heads up and I can help assist that council with having them move through to the regionals. And if anyone's got any questions, because again, I want to respect everyone's time, go ahead and shoot me an email at district11@indianakfc.org. And I'd be more than happy to discuss any questions through there, or any comments about soccer. And likewise, if anyone in the Lebanon area is going to be available in 3 weeks, be more than happy to have your assistance down there, because I will physically drive down there from Mishawaka. So that'll be a nice 2-hour drive. So I would appreciate any nights in that area that'd be willing to help out. That would be fantastic. And then Scott, the last thing I was just going to mention about the online membership. Just want to clarify for everybody here, when a member signs up online, it's one of two options. If they know a council number, they can put the council number in there, then automatically that prospect will show up in the prospect tab, which is available for the Grand Night Financial Secretary through their officers online access. So they will see those prospects automatically. I'm not going to personally send out an email to let you know, hey, you got a prospect in there, because you're already getting that email from Supreme already. I don't want to bombard everybody with emails. But the other option, if they sign up online and they don't know a council, just an example, I had one up here. I had someone that belonged to St. Pius that signed up, but they didn't know the number was 4263. I get those emails to say they're interested in joining a local council. And then, you know, as my schedule allows, I will go in there, assign it to that council. And then when I do that, I will send an email to the council email address, as well as the district deputy email address, to let them know there's a new prospect. And again, just reiterating, Grand Nights FSs, they all have access to officers online. They can see, they should be checking that regularly anyways to see what prospects are in there. But likewise, district deputies, all the district deputies have access to that same prospect tab to show, okay, here's all the prospects in my district, and it lists all the councils. So just wanted to clarify and reiterate that process, especially those of you that may be kind of newer into your roles for the councils and just aren't as familiar. Just wanted to spell it out and make it super simple so everyone's on the same page. And that's all I had, Scott.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan. I do appreciate that. Appreciate you. So everybody, Ryan is our online membership coordinator, which is wonderful. He's also handling District 11, and he has taken on the role of youth director for the soccer program. So he's being rather busy and doing a good job of that, plus raising his children. That said, if you know of anyone who would like to be our youth and young adult coordinator, give me their name. I've been trying to find someone, and that way I can lighten Ryan's load a little bit. And I'll tell you now, I am still in need of about 6 district deputies. So Kevin Large's area up on the South Bremen Plymouth area. I have out towards Terre Haute. I have the Kokomo to north of Carmel area. I have the Bloomington Bedford area, the Seymour to Madison area. I know I'm missing somewhere, but if you've got someone who would be interested, I don't need experience. What I need is a person willing to go talk with the councils and work with them. We will provide training, okay, and we'll buddy you up with an existing district deputy so you can learn. If you know somebody in those areas that would be a great fit or has the yearning to work with the Knights in more detail, send me their name. I'd appreciate it. All right, so comment from Tony Viney, thanking us for the town hall. Great way to have a district meeting for everyone to know where we stand as a state and district. Thank you, Tony. I have a comment. We've addressed Dan, who wanted clarification. The meeting, our state convention is May 5 through 7. We made an adjustment there. Thank you, Roger, for posting the soccer information in the chat. Thank you, Gil, for clarification as to why we're now in May, and Walt for clarification on date and location. And yes, we're going to do our best to use St. John the Evangelist Cathedral for the match. So, any other comments, questions? Again, if you don't want to speak, just type in the chat. If you want to speak, just raise your hand or unmute.
Worthy State Deputy. The calendar for the state KFC.org.
Yeah,
State, the state
yeah.
meet is in April.
Yes, we had to make an adjustment to that, Dan, and it just hasn't, we just signed the contract this week. So I haven't had a chance to go onto the website and make that adjustment.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead and mute yourself, Dan. Dave, you had something?
No.
Dave,
You're not muted.
Dan, you need to mute. All right, oh my, somebody wrote me a book here. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, my goodness, Frank.
People look in chat.
Yeah, look at chat at Frank's comments. These are very good. You know, he's got a good point. We've got almost 200 members. So, or I'm sorry, 200 councils. We've got 32,000 members. So we haven't seen some councils actually bringing in any members yet. So let's get out there and do that, and we'll move forward. Okay, so if we don't have any more comments, I'm gonna get rid of that. You can keep an eye on that. I'm going to go ahead and just move on. Are there any questions that need to be addressed before we wrap this meeting up? Okay. Well, thank you, Ed. I appreciate your comment of thanking us. Anyone else? All right, let's move along then. So here's a closing thought. And I got this emailed to me from our regional director. He received it from one of the, I forget, it's the program or the membership guy in Minnesota. Am I not? How do I stop sharing? It says I'm sharing. Thank you. Okay. Can you guys see it? There we go. All right. Yes. Okay. So a poem from Minnesota. I'm the guy. I'm the guy who asked to join your organization. I'm the guy who paid his dues to join. I'm the guy who stood up in front of you and promised to be faithful and loyal. I'm the guy who came to your meetings and no one paid attention to. I tried several times to be friends, but they all had their own buddies to talk to and sit next to. I sat down several times, but no one paid any attention to me. I hope very much that someone would have asked me to take part in a fundraising project or something, but no one saw my efforts when I volunteered. I missed a few meetings after joining because I was sick and couldn't be there. No one asked me at the next meeting where I'd been. I guess it didn't matter very much to others whether I was there or not. The next meeting, I decided to stay home and watch TV. The following meeting I attended, but no one asked me where I was for the last meeting. You might say I'm a good guy or a good family man who holds a responsible job and loves his community and country. You know who else I am? The guy who never came back. It amuses me how the heads of organizations and the members discuss why the organization is losing members. It amuses me to think that they spend so much time looking for new members when I was there all the time. All you need to do was make me feel welcome, needed, and wanted. Sorry, I got my words mixed up there. Gentlemen, one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do going forward, and our engagement chairman should be reaching out to you soon about this. Supreme has a form out there. It's a survey. Ask your members what they're interested in. It's an easy form. They're going to say, hey, I'm interested in evangelization. Hey, I'm interested in the Special Olympics. Hey, I'm interested in pro-life, whatever it may be. So then take that form and bring it back to your council and say, okay, guys, we've got 6 guys that want to go do something faith formation. Find out what it is, put them to work doing it, because that way they don't leave. And you don't have to worry about them never coming back. You know, I had an interesting discussion with some people the other day. Guys don't join the Knights of Columbus to go to meetings. Guys join the Knights of Columbus to go do something for the community. Yeah, they want to do stuff. So we need to make sure, but they want to do something in particular. So we need to find out what the stuff is that they want to do and provide that to them. And that will definitely bring us forward. Okay, I saw someone ask me about getting the poem in electronic forward. Yes, we're recording this and it will be available to everyone, and that poem is in the PowerPoint. Supreme does still have the code Blessed McGivney, and that will continue on until December for sure. And yes, the way you have it spelled here where the words run together is correct. Let's see, oh, it's David, very good. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much for attending. If you would, we will do a quick prayer for the canonization of Blessed Michael McGivney. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. God our Father, protector of the poor and defender of the widow and orphan, you called your priest, Blessed Michael McGivney, to be an apostle of the Christian family life and to lead the young to the generous service of their neighbor. Through the example of his life and virtue, may we follow your Son, Jesus Christ, more closely, fulfilling his commandment of charity and building up his body, which is the church. Let the inspiration of your servant prompt us to greater confidence in your love, so that we may continue his work of caring for the needy and the outcast. We humbly ask that you glorify Blessed Michael McGivney on earth, according to the design of your holy will. Through his intercession, grant the favor I now present. My favor is that Indiana kicks butt for the rest of this year. Amen. Through Christ our Lord, amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Gentlemen, just a reminder, the movie about Saint Mother Teresa will be out starting Monday. I know a few councils has made arrangements to go see it in the theater. Please encourage your membership and or parishes to take advantage of this movie. The Knights of Columbus sponsored it, and it's a wonderful movie about Saint Teresa of nun who went and served to the poorest of the poor. So thank you all and have a great day. Again, this presentation was recorded and will be available for review.
Thanks, everybody. DDs, get together with you guys, talk about what they've done in the past quarter and what you're looking forward to getting for Christmas, because that is the end of the second quarter. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, let us know. But it's been great being with you today, and we will be talking to you as we get out and about. Have a good day and viva Jesus.
Viva Jesus.